Happy Tuesday, everybody. My name is Mike Jimenez, and this is The Acquired Taste. Hope everyone's having a fantastic day. I am stuffed because I had some fantastic breakfast tacos this morning. Posted some photos on Twitter earlier today. It was amazing. Absolutely amazing. Joe Garcia producing today's show. What's going on, Joe?
Hey, I'm glad because we have some announcements to make for today's show. One of them is very exciting.
Yeah, we have lots of announcements today. Well, first of all, our guest today, our special guest, is Carolina Teague. CT in the house. She'll join us in about 10 or 15 minutes or so because she is fresh back from the Las Vegas Summer League. She saw Victor Wembanyama play out there in Vegas. We're going to get her perspective on things. I mean, keep in mind, the Spurs shut him down. We talked about this yesterday with Hector Ledesma from Sports Tonight. What were the Spurs going to do? And reportedly, they have shut him down. Spurs are playing tonight in the Summer League, but do not expect to see Wemby out there. We're going to get into a lot today about the Spurs, Gregg Popovich signing a 5-year extension. Is this a good or a bad thing? Let's talk about the city of San Antonio because it seems as though people are still piling on the city of San Antonio and the Spurs when it comes to us drafting Wemby, calling this city boring, calling the city lame. I have a poll out there on Twitter asking the question, do you find San Antonio to be boring? I mean, we are from here. We should know, right?
Yeah.
We're going to get into some pop culture as well. Britney Spears annoyed and freaking people out yet again. I mean, keep in mind, just a few days ago, she accused Spurs security of assaulting her. Now she's posting more strange and bizarre videos on Instagram and TikTok that have people concerned about her yet again. It is both funny and very disturbing at the same time. We also need to get into the whole Michael Jordan's son and Scottie Pippen's ex-wife, Marcus Jordan and Larsa Pippen. The craziness going on with them, and then also the fact that Scottie Pippen's girl is flashing the paparazzi. What is going on with these legends from the 90s? So we're going to get into that again. We do have Carolina Teague coming on in about 10 minutes or so. Again, we're live on Facebook, YouTube, and on Twitter. But some announcements to be made today, by the way. First and foremost, we did it. The goal was, the stretch goal, okay, the goal was 400 YouTube subscribers in our first month. We hit over 500. Thank you to everybody who subscribed because our numbers are getting bigger and better by the day. And again, if you subscribe to us on YouTube, you can respond to us in real time and we'll read your posts. If they're good, we'll read your posts. Let's see who's already on the chat board for us already. I mean, we have people coming in. Chris Leha, Pakan 2, Bones reaching out saying, yo, Chris Leha already coming out firing strong saying it's creepy as hell. Not going to read that second part of it all, but Britney Spears, my goodness, she is frustrating right now. She is frustrating to cheer for these days. But we have several announcements beyond making 500. What is the goal for the Acquired Taste and this network? The next goal is 1,000 subscribers by the start of the NFL season. When the Cowboys kick off in less than 60 days, we want to have 1,000 subscribers at that point. And then the goal after that is going to be to catch up to San Antonio Sports Star and surpass them by the end of the year. I believe that we can do this. I firmly believe that we can do this because we have the support, we have the viewers, and people are slowly migrating over from Facebook and from Twitter onto our platform on YouTube. Again, we love you if you watch us on Twitter. We love you if you watch us on Facebook, but we love you even more if you watch us on YouTube. But getting 500 is a very, very big deal. Joe, did you think we were going to get there so quickly?
I didn't think we were going to get there that quickly. I mean, I knew it was going to be obtainable, but it was ahead of schedule. So it's a good thing, Everybody showing us some love, in a short amount of time as well as that. So, I mean, sky's the limit here.
Yes, it was a big push this weekend. And I'll be honest with you. We did it organically, if you will. I mean, people taking pot shots at us, I thought was kind of bizarre. But the fact of the matter is that we got to 500, which means that we're going to get to 1,000 in the next 2 months or so. But we made this announcement that this podcast, that this network was going to start just 30 days ago. It was 1 month ago today. And then we had our first show. Tomorrow is the 1 month anniversary of our first show. And I was super sick. Think about how many subscribers we would have if I had my voice the first week and a half that we were doing this. But we're having a great time over here, and we're going to start to expand. You know why we're going to expand? It's because not only are we getting the love from the subscribers and people are watching, and not only are we going to be able to monetize this on YouTube beginning sometime in mid-August or so, but beyond that, we're getting sponsors. And we have a big one to announce today. We're super excited to welcome to the family Serenity Manor, which is out in Helotes. It's located at 14405 Old Bandera Road. That's right across the street from Flores Country Store. So where all those big country concerts take place, after the show, head on over to Serenity Manor. It is a social events venue, okay? But we'll explain that. They open up in January, and they host everything from weddings to bridal showers, family reunions, graduation parties, quinceañeras, casino nights. I mean, it is a full-on venue, but on top of all that, they have a bar there that's open Wednesday through Sunday. And that's why they want us, not only for the big-time events, but if you live out in the Helotes area, you're out there, outside of Bandera Road and 1604, you're looking for a new place to go to, they have a bar, and beginning this Thursday, they're going to start a karaoke night. Nice. So it's on Thursday, and then the following Thursday, they're going to have a trivia night, and then go back to karaoke, then have a trivia night. They also have these weekend events where they have a lot of vendors out there, selling their products and doing things like that. It's old-time Helotes. That's basically where it is. So if you go to, again, this is located at 14405 Old Bandera Road, right across from Flores Country Store. This Thursday, I've got to check out the karaoke scene over there. Yeah. I mean, if it's the inaugural night of karaoke in town, and I can say I'm one of the first performers out there, I got to make it happen. In fact, I'm going to go out there to Serenity Manor after the show to go check it out and go check out the layout. I mean, I've seen photos and all that stuff, but I'm excited about this because it's a brand new bar. Brand new bar coming to Helotes. I mean, where else can you drink in Helotes? You got floors, but it gets so crowded after the concerts. You've got El Chaparral, which I love. It's a great restaurant, but I mean, it's a restaurant, and the bar there is kind of small. And you've had Josabi's and all these other places out there, but Helotes has a new place where you can go drink. Again, it's Serenity Manor. They call it the bar at Serenity Manor. Thursday night, this week rather, Thursday, 6 to 10 p.m., karaoke night. And on top of that, they're going to have drink specials. We're talking specials on Bud products. And on top of that, food trucks will be there as well. So come hungry. Come hungry. Yeah, so thank you so much for sponsoring this show. And again, what does it mean when we get sponsors? It means that this network gets to expand. And I would go on to say, Joe, that we're one sponsor away from really unveiling a 2-hour show.
Oh, yeah.
At this point. Yeah. And then we have the Fantasy Gods that begins on August 6th. Dude, we're picking up momentum.
Moving.
Big time. Picking up momentum big time. Before we get going, don't forget to subscribe to the Locked On Spurs podcast and follow Jeff Garcia on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone and on Threads at Jeff G Kens 5 SA. Again, that is Jeff G Kens 5 SA. Interesting article that he had this morning, talking about the little general Avery Johnson. Avery Johnson has his number retired there at the AT&T Center, the number 6. He hit that big jumper from the left side to seal the first NBA Finals for the San Antonio Spurs. He'll forever be in our hearts. And he sometimes comes out on CBS Sports, and someone on CBS Sports was giving us crap, the city of San Antonio crap about, I cannot believe Wemby went to San Antonio. It's not only a boring place to go, but it's a boring place to play. And Avery Johnson was not having any of that. Again, go to Jeff Garcia's article on Twitter at Jeff G Spurs Zone about this. He's also on Kens5.com. And I find this to be interesting because I go back and forth as to whether or not I think San Antonio is boring or not. It all depends on your perspective. Personally, I get what they're saying. Okay, it's in comparison to the city of New York, the city of LA, Miami, all of these different places. You know, Dame Lillard is not necessarily clamoring to come to San Antonio. He wants to go to Miami. And there's a reason for that. There's a certain lifestyle that they want to live. But is San Antonio boring? Reach out to us. Give us a comment here on YouTube. And again, you can follow me on Twitter at MJ Acquired Taste. It's going to be a big show. We have Carolina Teague from A League of Her Own podcast ready to go. I see her backstage. Let's go ahead and bring her on. She's got that Vegas glow in her because she was at the Las Vegas summer review for the San Antonio Spurs, checking out Victor Wembanyama. CT, how you doing, my girl?
I'm barely alive, but I'm here.
You all right there? You looking a little sleepy.
She's got the Vegas flu. She's got her Vegas flu.
Yeah, it's I'm still used to the Pacific time, and I'm not ready to be back home yet and get back to my normal life. But here we are. I have to get back to it. So I'm getting adjusted to everything still. Barely slept at all. Vegas should be called the city that never sleeps, just like New York. And my voice, I don't know where it's at, but I'm here, so I'm happy.
Yeah, you need a little sip of something to get that going again.
Little coffee or something.
Yeah, put something in the coffee.
She needs a nap. But Carolina, you were out there for the first game on Friday. Victor Wembanyama did not show up on Friday, and it was to be expected for me because, again, it was his first time out there wearing the silver and black. It had been such a whirlwind after getting drafted and coming off the season with Metropolitans 92 where they lost in the finals. Then he gets drafted, and then he's being taken all over the place. Didn't really get to practice much with the team, and people hated the fact that I used the phrase he wet the bed. But that's basically what happened. But then he balled out the next game 2 days later, just showed up, had a huge game, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks. That being said, how would you grade Wemby's performance out there? What was it like being in the arena when he took the court the first time?
Honestly, his performance wasn't the best performance, spectacular as a lot of casuals who follow the Spurs were expecting. But I give him a really great grade. I would give him a B+, and the only reason why I would give him a B+ is because offensively he wasn't there for the first game, but that, in my opinion, was to be expected. He was incredible defensively. He was incredible. He had major blocks. Even when he got dunked on, it was because he was trying to, Kai Jones was going for a lob, and he was able to stop that. And that's kind of unheard of when you see that he was already guarding somebody else, then turn around to try to guard the lob, which you hardly see to begin with. He wasn't successful. But when he does come back around and he does develop himself, he's going to be incredible. And then the very next game, you see he comes back, has a bounce back game, records a double-double. I would definitely give him a B+. If he would have showed up offensively, I would have given him an A for sure.
Mm-hmm. Talking to Carolina Teague from A League of Her Own podcast. She was there in Las Vegas for Wemby's first game. The electricity, by the way, had to have been off the charts right there because this has gone down as the second most watched Summer League game of all time, according to ESPN's ratings. That is ridiculous that so many people tuned in to watch this game. Yep. But can you tell me about the atmosphere, the anticipation of him walking onto the court? Because I was watching on TV and seeing him in the tunnel ready to go, and people are just looking at him, and he's just walking, pacing back and forth in the tunnel. What was it like, the electricity of the anticipation of him playing?
Well, honestly, I got to see the best of it because it was my first Summer League. I've never covered Summer League before, and I was like, I have to go cover Summer League by any means necessary because this is the first few games of a generational talent, despite it being in Summer League. So while all the rest of the local media did a fantastic job covering them, by the way, they were in the tunnels waiting for him to come out. I was trying to find a seat because everything was sold out. And there was no seat in the house. And the media section, which is usually dry. And by the way, last year when I covered the Spurs, if it wasn't Matthew Tynan, if it wasn't Jazz Tamir, if it wasn't Jeff McDonald, Raul Rodriguez, it was literally just me and just a handful of local people covering the Spurs. For this game, there were no seats for media. Media had to sit in the regular sitting section because there's so many people wanting to cover it. So I got there early. I sat down, and I could not afford to get up from my seat because I would have lost my seat. Yes. Yeah. And there was people getting up from seats, even with their laptops, and media would just push the laptop out the way and sit in their seat. And I was like, I'm not going through that. I'm not dealing with this. I'm going to sit down. This is my seat. So I got to see all the electricity that was in that arena at that moment. the game right before, the Rockets versus Trailblazers game, incredible. Rockets won with a game-winning shot. So the crowd's already excited about that. That was incredible. Then Victor Wembanyama comes out to a sold-out crowd. And the crowd pretty much goes crazy when his name is announced. They announced all the people that we know, but there's a lot of people that don't know Malachi Branham or Dominic Barlow. But when Victor Wembanyama's name was announced, everybody just went crazy.
Yes, very much so. Talking to Carolina Teague of A League of Her Own podcast. Again, you can follow her on her podcast as well, on YouTube as well. Lost in all of this was the fact that over the weekend, Gregg Popovich was offered a 5-year extension worth $80 million. That makes him the highest paid coach yet again, okay, because he was before, then other coaches leapfrogged him, and now he's back at being the highest paid coach in the NBA. 74 years old. If he plays the entire contract out, if he coaches the entire contract out, he'll be 79 years old. Mm-hmm. It's been so long that he's been the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. In fact, I posted on Twitter the other day that the day that he named himself head coach of the Spurs, the #1 song on the Billboard charts was Unbreak My Heart by Toni Braxton. It has been that long. It has been that long. I am 46 years old. I was 19 when he was hired as the head coach of the San Antonio Spurs. He has 5 rings. Obviously, we love him. We consider him the GOAT here in San Antonio. But that being said, what do you think of the 5-year extension for Gregg Popovich?
Oh, gosh. It's incredible. I'm happy for him. He is the greatest coach of all time, in my opinion. And that's coming from somebody who was a 90s Bulls fan. And I love the coaching of Phil Jackson. But Phil Jackson had the benefits of Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant, amazing, incredible talents. And Gregg Popovich had Tim Duncan. Granted, he had people like Kawhi Leonard, but they had to really develop championship teams via the draft, via lottery. Michael Jordan and Phil Jackson of the Chicago Bulls, they were different. They had, the tools necessary with the talent to just have that bought, not built situation. The Spurs are built, not bought. He has the hardware to back him up, 5 rings. And this goes back to the theory that you had, Jimenez. They probably did tank on purpose, because any other coach who would have had a losing record like that would have been fired last year.
Very much so.
Facts. They would have been fired. But this is Gregg Popovich. There was obviously a master plan, and now he signed a 5-year deal. It doesn't surprise me. Victor Wembanyama's back. He was on the cusp of retirement, but now that Victor's here, it's going to be great for San Antonio. And I cannot wait to see what he does with Victor Wembanyama. I can't wait to see what he does with this young core. This team has always excited him. They're going to develop him to be like a Tim Duncan or like Kawhi Leonard 2.0. Like, I know you guys don't like him, but as far as skill is concerned, he's going to knock it out the park, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. What better coach to be under than the greatest coach of all time?
Interesting comment by Robert Quintero that just reached out to us right now on YouTube. It says, and the president of basketball operations, no, insane. I'm very much for Pop staying in command until he wants. It's just insane. The only coach I've known in my lifetime. I mean, he's been around for so long. I have always said about Gregg Popovich, he is the GOAT. And despite all that, I've had a love-hate relationship the past few years, because when it came to a rebuild, I don't want Gregg Popovich for a rebuild. I've been saying this for a while. I don't think that he's a rebuild kind of guy. But you give him weapons. And in this sense, you give him the ultimate weapon in Victor Wembanyama. He's going to make a good player great, and he's going to make a great player legendary. Where he does not do so well necessarily is whenever you see a losing team where you don't have that superstar. He's not that guy. He's not Larry Brown. He's not Eric Spoelstra. He's a different type of coach. You give him quality players, he'll get the most out of them. So now I've gone from not wanting him to be the head coach anymore to being okay with him being part of all this again, because we've seen what he has done with a Tim Duncan. We've seen what he has done with a David Robinson, the back end of his career, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. But now You kind of need a Gregg Popovich type of head coach to make things going. If the Spurs did not win the lottery, if the Spurs had got the number 4 or 5 pick and we got Oscar Thompson or Amen Thompson, I would have been calling for a new head coach because he's not a rebuild guy, right? He doesn't color with 8 crayons, but you give him the box of 128, he'll draw something really nice. He'll color something really nice. And that's where we are with Gregg Popovich. Right now, I'm looking at this right now. He has an insane amount, a record 1,366 head coaching wins. That's a record, a 170 wins in the playoffs, a 599 winning percentage in the playoffs, a 642 winning percentage in the regular season. The next coach is almost 300 wins away. That's Doc Rivers. The only coach that I see on this list who can actually compete and catch up at some point is Eric Spoelstra. But Eric Spoelstra is 662 wins away from catching up to Gregg Popovich. I'm not saying it's impossible. It might actually happen, but that'll be 20 years from now by the time that happens. Gregg Popovich, he puts up 40, 50 win seasons here on out. He's going to have 1,600 wins. That's remarkable. Just rename Coach of the Year to the Gregg Popovich Coach of the Year award because he'll have every record that's there. And if he gets that 6th ring to match Phil Jackson, he's the GOAT. He's the GOAT. I know Auerbach might have more, but still, Pop would be the GOAT. And I don't think anybody can dispute that.
I think he's already the GOAT. But yeah, if he does win one more, then yeah, it's undisputed at that point because he matched Phil Jackson. Or he didn't match Phil Jackson. He has 6 more. And I think he's already the GOAT even without having to win another ring. I mean, it's established by his record, his reputation. He has great relationship players to this day. There was a series for NBA Summer League, and it was called NBA Then and Now. And Victor was part of that process, and Kareem Abdul-Jabbar was there to give him advice. Then you saw Carmelo Anthony giving advice to Scoot Henderson.
Yeah.
This is a perfect match. This signing is the perfect match of then and now. You have Gregg Popovich, who's old school, and then you have the now with Victor Wembanyama. It's the best of both worlds, and it couldn't be a more perfect marriage, in my opinion.
Hopefully they work together. When I was thinking 6, I was thinking of the Jordan years. Phil Jackson with 11 NBA
11.
championships.
I was like, wait a minute.
Red Auerbach 9. I was thinking of the Jordan years more than anything else because I didn't think about it. Phil Jackson went from Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, all the way over to Kobe and Shaq.
Yeah,
so, he had the cheat code.
That's what I'm saying. He had the cheat code. He had Kobe Bryant and Michael Jordan. Now,
and Red Auerbach has 9, but that was at a time when the league only had like 9 or 10 teams in the entire league. It's not like, right now where you have 30 teams in the NBA. It's different. I mean, that's a different era. Real fast. Wasn't going to go there because I was going to talk about it later. Your thoughts on the Larsa Pippen dating Michael Jordan's son? Your thoughts, because I'm going to talk more about it later on in the show. But I thought about it. I was like, wait a minute. CT is probably the best person to ask this question to. What are your thoughts on what's going on with that? Because Michael Jordan apparently is not giving the blessing to his son about all this.
Somebody compared me to Larsa Pippen online, and I was like, how am I Larsa Pippen? but I don't care what people do with their personal lives. Honestly, if she's happy, if they like it, I love it. I'm not going to trip about it. It just is a little bit odd that, well, Scottie, let me just, as a Bulls fan in the 90s, when Scottie would come out and talk crap about Michael and just be super disrespectful on shows, it just like bursted my childhood heart bubble because I was like, okay, first of all, Michael Jordan gave you 6, like he gave this whole dynasty 6 rings. And if it wasn't for him, you wouldn't have any rings either. So why don't you just like save the slander for another time? Yeah, he might have been a pain in the ass, but you have the hardware to back it up. And everybody knows you because of what you and Michael created together as a team. And then you're going to go out of the limb and disrespect him. And for Larsa to come turn around and she must really hate Scottie. For you to sleep with your ex-player's son, that means you must, whatever Scottie and happened between them behind closed doors, she must really, really hate him to try to sleep with Michael's son or even be attracted to him in that sense. So it just,
because she's known him since he was a baby. That's the thing. He might be 32 years old now, but he was 1 year old. He was 2 months old. She probably carried him as an adult woman, carried him as a baby. That is insane. And if they have a kid together, Michael Jordan would be the kid's grandfather.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me. He probably sees it as weird. He probably was looking at it from a dad's perspective. He was like, when you were holding my son, when we would be in family photo ops, were you attracted to him his whole life?
Exactly.
So that's probably why he doesn't approve of it. Because I mean, me as a parent, I would think it would be weird if one of my friends dated my child after they saw him be raised. So that's probably where his mindset is at. But I mean, to each their own. And but I mean, that is Michael Jordan's lick back for all the disrespect Scottie's been giving him.
Yeah, but you know, this girl ain't gonna be dating nobody unless they got a little money.
That is true.
You know,
most definitely true.
And can she get pregnant? How old is she anyway?
She's 49.
No, man, come on now. No,
it's possible.
Get pregnant.
It's possible.
As long as she hasn't gone through menopause yet, she can get pregnant.
Didn't say it was likely,
50, dude. She's almost 50.
Didn't say it was likely. I'm just saying it's possible. We can't make fun of her about that when Robert De Niro and Al Pacino are having kids in their 70s and 80s. That is insane. The age difference, Jason Garcia is asking us on YouTube, what is the age difference? It's almost 17 years. I think it's 16 and a half, 49 and 32. Hey, don't forget to subscribe to Locked On Spurs podcast. Jeff Garcia has a very good article today, basically talking about Avery Johnson, the little general, defending the city of San Antonio's honor because yet another talking head, this time on CBS Sports, was giving us crap, saying that the city of San Antonio is boring. Jeff Garcia has an article on that on Kens5.com, and also you can follow him at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter. I subscribe to his podcast. I was on there yesterday. Joe Garcia is often on that show as well. A lot of our friends are on there because Locked On Spurs is daily content when it comes to your San Antonio Spurs. I listen on Spotify, but wherever you get your podcast, chances are Locked On Spurs is there. So, Carolina, let me ask you this question about that article today. Little General was basically saying that he doesn't want to hear that slander anymore. He was basically saying that he's tired of the media coming out and just ragging on the city of San Antonio. Now, I asked this question on Twitter, a poll, and by the way, dude, I asked this poll question about an hour ago. We have about 300 people who have already responded, and it's a very simple question. Is the Alamo City boring? Is San Antonio boring? And 79% responded by saying no. What do you think, Carolina?
I think it's boring for sure.
Explain yourself.
I think it's boring for sure. And I love San Antonio and I like it to be boring. It's just because I say it's boring doesn't mean it's a knock to San Antonio. It means that I'm being honest. Because this is a huge city, and when you compare it to, if you're comparing it to different cities like Houston, Dallas, LA, Chicago, New York, even Vegas, I just came from, first of all, weed is not legal here yet. Weed needs to be legal. Okay.
So that's what makes it boring.
Yeah, for a lot of people, yes.
That already makes it not fun. Okay, I can't smoke weed without getting the ticket.
You can't make any online sports bets here either. So
you can't make online sports bets either. So those are one of the reasons why it's boring. Well, that's all of Texas, by the way, which is a huge problem for everybody, right? But then again, the bars in other places, they close at 5 o'clock. San Antonio, they close at 2 o'clock. They do have great places around here. St. Mary's, the Strip. Don't get me wrong. I got my party on and I know how to party. Okay. I know how to have a great time, and I know that there's so many things to do in San Antonio. This is such a lively, incredible culture. And I love San Antonio so much, but when you compare it to other big cities, there's not as much to do. I was in Vegas. I saw A-list celebrities at the club that I've never seen in my life. You don't see people who attend the Met Gala at clubs in San Antonio. So those are things that you just don't see on a regular basis. So when it comes to exciting little things like that, they're not going to have it here. As far as bringing major concerts here too, they have that issue here as well. They also, there's little things here and there that was like, okay, it's not compared to other big cities, it's boring, but I prefer it that way. San Antonio is a family-friendly town. San Antonio has, you know, tons of things to do, like tubing in the summertime. Like I said, the Pearl, Southtown, all that great stuff. So it's kind of like in the middle scale, but it's definitely not as boring as the Rio Grande Valley.
It's all relative. It's all relative. It depends on what you're looking for and where you are in life, right? For my wife right now, my wife is 41 years old, 42 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's not boring for her because she's not looking for certain things. You know, she's not looking for that big concert. She's not looking for these huge festivals that you might get elsewhere.
Drugs.
Yeah, she's not looking for the pot, right? Now, for me, though, I like being out and about. And I travel a lot for my work, right? So I went to Philadelphia last year. I go to New York pretty frequently, you know, whether it be for work or to go visit family. I go to California a lot because I have a lot of family in the LA area. We went and visited San Diego, had the opportunity to visit Seattle. I go to Dallas a lot because we have friends that are over there. Some mutual friends, me and my wife, our friends are out there. There is so much more to do on the outside. It's just true. Just going to DFW, oh my God, it is so much different than San Antonio. Now, I cannot stand the city of Houston. Okay, Houston is the armpit of Texas. I will try to avoid Houston as much as possible because the only thing I like about the city of Houston is Chinatown, and that is it. But when it comes to food, we don't got it here. We got Tex-Mex, and that is it. When it comes to nightclubs, for a 25-year-old, 22-year-old, 23-year-old African-American millionaire, San Antonio is not the place to be. And in fact, we saw this when the Spurs played in Austin last year, where they were like, man, there's just so much more things to do over here. It's so much fun to play in Austin because they have that 6th Street stuff, that 5th Street stuff, and all of that. I get it. But what I'm trying to say is this: just because the city is boring doesn't mean that the city has to be upset about that. Maybe that is just who we are, and we embrace that. Because as much as I go to the Pearl, and I like the Pearl from time to time, you go to DFW, there's 40 Pearls there. I mean, there's 40 of them. We got one, right? But like you mentioned, the tubing, the golfing that we have here, the hiking, you know, the rodeo when it comes into town. People enjoy fiesta. People enjoy all sorts of events around town. It doesn't have to be boring if you identify with the city. That's the number one thing. And you've seen players like David Robinson, Tim Duncan, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. Where do they live? They live here. Think about that.
They were also labeled the boring team too, though.
Well, but think about that for Victor Wembanyama.
Boring greatness.
Look at all the money that Tim Duncan and I mean, I know Tim Duncan married Vanessa Macias, right? And she's from San Antonio, right? But we also have Manu Ginobili, who could live anywhere in the world, but he lives in the San Antonio area. You know, you have David Robinson could live anywhere in the United States, anywhere in the world. He lives in San Antonio, right? But speaking of Vanessa Macias, I made the joke the other day, and I need to bring it up one more time. You want to keep Wemby here after the 4-year contract? Find him a nice Latina woman here in San Antonio. Have him fall in love. And have her be so close to her family that she doesn't want to leave their side. That can keep Wemby here.
You know what? That might drive Wemby away because and that's what another thing I was gonna say. Like I can handle the boring talk, and Matthew Lerman said that the after hour spots are pop until 6 o'clock. I understand that, but the after hour spots are BYOB, and the whole city as a whole isn't open till 6 a.m. That's what I mean by that. At other places there, I know you guys are going to defend it tooth and nail, but just embrace that that it's a little bit boring. They call San Antonio. Everybody loves when they say San Antonio is a big city with a small town feel. Well, part of that is because it's kind of boring. So just embrace that part. And I don't want people to have an inferiority complex when it comes to that. But what really bothers me, and I think Avery Johnson, maybe he touched on this. I didn't read the Locked On Spurs article by Jeff Garcia. I need to go read it first. And he's a great writer too, by the way. So I can't wait to go check it out. Avery Johnson, what he should be upset about, and I wonder if he mentioned this, is the disrespect that the San Antonio Spurs get as a whole from national media. That is something that I cannot tolerate, because as soon as Wemby had that first bad game, everybody was saying he was a bust. It seems like the entire nation as a whole kind of turned on him as soon as he got drafted by the San Antonio Spurs, and kind of
just a knee-jerk reaction. It was a knee-jerk reaction. But Doris Burke was the one who was like all about the two people who called the game, Doris Burke, and I forgot the other gentleman who was doing the game, were all about Wemby, saying, look, man, this was one game. But then again, you have that media there, you know, when it comes to like the Houston media, the LA media, who they either want to see one of two things. They either want to see Wemby fail, or they want to see Wemby bounce in 4 years. And a success story in San Antonio is not the greatest thing in the world for those who love La La Land and those who love Philadelphia and love New York and Boston and Miami. A success story in San Antonio would be, you know, something where they look at it and go, man, we can't have the best teams in the NBA be San Antonio, Denver, and Milwaukee.
Yeah,
even that is their problem.
When they came down, people were dressing in cowboy hats and like making a mockery out of the city. When it came to that, I mean, it was all in good fun and jest, but at the same time, we're so much more than that. And I don't like that they make San Antonio seem like, you know, they can't have some successful things because they're a small market. I mean, even other small markets like the Memphis Grizzlies get a lot more attention for perhaps the wrong things, but the San Antonio Spurs and the way that they're portrayed on national media has always been like, they're boring, they're quiet, they're all these things. That's what bothers me more than anything. Like, just let them be boring and let them win rings and move out the way.
And this could be the best thing for him at age 19, because we saw the spotlight, how it shined in Las Vegas. And I know he was new to the team and new to the whole concept and everything, and it was a big whirlwind, but he doesn't have to face those lights, that bright of a spotlight, when he plays for the Spurs at the AT&T Center. Yeah, there'll be national media there. Yeah, there'll be international media there, but it's not going to be as bad as if he had been drafted by an LA team or a New York team or anything like that. But Carolina Teague, thank you so much for being with us. Before we let you go, tell us how we can follow you and what you're working on these days.
So follow me at Carolina Teague _, and I just finished covering Summer League. I'm exhausted. I was up all night, got no sleep. I can't wait to talk about everything that happened to me in Vegas. I had conversations with people I never thought I would. So come check it out here. All the Cheeseman with me, people in sports that I look up to and met. And also I have, you know, a whole bunch of stuff going on wrestling. I'm making some appearances and debuts at other places, and I am still going to have tacos with Michelle Beadle soon. So hope you guys take a look out for that. I'm excited about it. In boring ass San Antonio, we're going to eat tacos. So
you know what we should do now that while she's still here, because she likes it when we do new things.
Yeah.
We should unveil what we're talking about.
Oh, show us.
Yeah.
And in fact, you introduced this, Joe.
Yeah. So me and Mike had been talking about this for a while. So we said, you know what? Instead of just like buy us a coffee, why don't they go ahead and buy us a beer? You know, so now we have the QR code and this little link here where people can go and help support the show.
Great minds think alike, because literally tomorrow on my show, I was going to introduce Buy Me a Pizza, because Mike Taylor has Buy Me a Coffee. Nice. Now you guys have Buy Me a Beer, and I have Buy Me a Pizza, because if people want to buy me dinner, like, buy me a pizza. So I'm really excited, you know. So if you guys want to support Michael, definitely do Buy Me a Coffee /acquire taste, or Buy Me a Beer /acquire taste. And then mine is actually buymeacoffee.com /Carolina Teague. You could buy me a pizza too. So we're really excited to unveil that too.
Well,
so
they really know you. It's going to be buy you a Starbucks.
I wanted to do Buy Me a Coffee, but I didn't want to copy Mike Taylor 1,000%. So I was like, buy me a pizza, but I do like coffee, so don't get me wrong. Yeah, but
I've been on the phone with you too many times to already know your order by heart.
That's right. That is right. Carolina Teague, thank you for being with us. See you next time, CT.
Bye. See you later. Bye.
So let's go ahead and show that buy us a beer thing on a full screen.
Yeah.
Again, the whole point of all this, it's kind of like a crowdsource type of thing. If you like what we do, and we're not having any subscriptions to things, you know, you subscribe to the Acquired Taste Network, the Acquired Taste podcast. There's no cost for that. There's no cost for the subscription. But if you like what we do and you want to fork over $1 or $2 and say, hey, we like what you do, keep going, keep the momentum going, keep the lights on, if you will. There's a QR code right there. Buy us a beer. You go to buymeacoffee.com/acquired taste. And, take a $1 donation, a $2 donation, $5, $10.
Well, it starts at $5. And
it starts at $5.
That's
a good beer right there.
And look at Matt Lerman says, isn't Buy Me a Coffee just the name of the website? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. It is. So very cool. Very cool. But we got to 500 yesterday. We got a new sponsor today. I mean, we pick up sponsor number 4, and suddenly we're looking at having a 2-hour show at that point. And one of our original sponsors is Cynthia J. Sanchez of J. Parr Real Estate. And I was talking to a listener of ours, Chris Leha, yesterday. I had lunch with him. We were over at Twin Peaks. And I was talking to him about drip marketing. And I asked him the question, who's that realtor that sponsors my show? And he goes, oh, yeah, Cynthia over at J. Parr Real Estate. And I was like, you see, how did you know that? It's because you hear the name more and more. And when you're ready to buy a house, when you're ready to sell your house, or you want to get an investment property or an Airbnb, the name that I want ingrained in your head is Cynthia J. Sanchez from J. Parr Real Estate. Her number is on the screen, 210-273-0748, 210-273-0748. She has investment properties of her own. She has an Airbnb of her own as well. She knows how all of that works. She can guide you through that process. And if you're worried about interest rates, she told me the other day, she just sold a house this weekend, 4.2% fixed interest rate. How? It's because she's not going to the bank. She's going to the actual builder and getting it internally financed. And she'll tell you which neighborhoods are doing this. You don't have to worry about, I got to wait till the interest rates fall. They're at 7 or 8%. They're not going to fall very fast, man. That's not how interest rates work. I know this because I'm in finance. Interest rates fall at a certain pace, and that's like 0.25% a year, or 0.25%, maybe a quarter. So if you think that it's going to fall to 3 or 4%, I'm sorry, just not going to happen. That's not how it works when it comes to finance, right? So keep that in mind. So if you're looking for a home, you're looking to sell your home, Cynthia J. Sanchez, J. Parr Real Estate. And again, she will also, if you buy a house from her, will buy one of those warranties for you up to a $600 value. So if the water heater breaks, the dishwasher, the AC, or other mechanical appliances break down due to wear and tear, the warranty covers you, and it covers so much more. Reach out to Cynthia J. Sanchez, 210-273-0748. Drip, 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 drip. Remember her name. I know you do already. Cynthia J. Sanchez, J. Parr Real Estate. Joe, what do we do here, man? We talk sports. We talk pop culture. We talk nostalgia. And we talk about Britney Spears.
Oh, man.
Man, I got accused last week of bringing the bad juju into the house and being the one that somehow manifested that whole situation that happened in Las Vegas at the Aria Hotel, where Britney Spears accused the San Antonio Spurs security of assaulting her. Now, we did see the video, by the way, and it was kind of what she said, a little bit of what he said, somewhere in the middle. She did tap him on the shoulder, but the fact of the matter is that it's not like she got punched in the face, okay? She did not get assaulted. Security was doing its job. They don't know who it was, right? Especially, let's go ahead and show this video real fast. Do you have the video?
Yeah, I got the video.
Okay.
Let me go ahead and get it in here, dude.
When Newsweek.com, which is a news, publication, has an article that says Britney dance sparks concerns. And we're showing this video that she posted on TikTok. She posted it on Instagram as well. And I'm sorry, there is something wrong with this woman. She's 41 years old. She's been in the spotlight since the late 90s when she was a teenager. Baby One More Time was that big hit back in the 90s, but she had several other hits beyond that. There was Lucky and all of that stuff, right? Drive Me Crazy, all of that stuff. But she's posting video after video, basically on a weekly basis, of her gyrating and dancing in a bikini. And the bikini gets smaller and smaller by the week. And if you had told 25-year-old Jimenez, when she first came out, and I was in my early 20s, so 22-year-old Jimenez, that there will be a time and date in my life when Britney Spears would appear on the internet dancing in a skimpy bikini on a weekly basis. I would never have believed it. Never. I would have wanted that.
Yeah.
But it's so disgusting because she looks drugged off her mind, allegedly. I'm not saying that she's drugged, that she's on drugs, but there's something wrong with
There's
Britney
something
Spears.
amiss. Something amiss.
I don't know, man. I don't think she's going to be alive this time next year.
I wouldn't be surprised, you know, in maybe a couple weeks, a month from now, 2 months from now, we hear that she's gone into like rehab for treatment or something. And it might not be related to drugs. I mean, I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. Maybe there's something going on, you know, as far as like from a mental aspect of things, you know, and I'm not going to go ahead and push things out there because I don't want to make accusations. But I mean, if she's needing some help, I mean, and if she goes to rehab to get some help, good for her, you know?
Yeah, lots of people reaching out to her on social media saying someone save Britney. There are reports she has said that a court forced her to have some sort of implant, if you will, to prevent her from having babies. That was like a part of a condition. I don't know if that is true or not, but reportedly she has said that in the past. And then you have this dog that's there just watching this whole thing, which made it even more gross.
It's because somebody took a still shot.
Yes.
And you saw the whole video, and he wasn't.
The dog was there for like a brief second.
He was there for like a nanosecond.
Yes. It wasn't like the movie Road Trip, you know, where
Yes.
it's like, it's okay because it's your dog. James reaches out to us on YouTube saying she's cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. That's a way of calling it right there. Matt says, I'm not saying that it's wrong, but it's definitely not right. Something is wrong with her. Jonathan C., don't smoke crack, kids. I wouldn't doubt it, man. I wouldn't put anything past what's going on. She looks zonked out. You can tell so much about somebody by the way their eyes look. You can tell if they're on drugs. You can tell if they're drunk. You can tell if they're happy. You can tell if they're sad. You can tell if they're scared, or you can tell if they're amped up. You can tell so many different things. One of the things about the eyes, though, God, I cannot believe I'm saying this, and people are gonna give me so much crap for this.
The eyes don't lie.
The eyes don't lie. I'm gonna tell you the worst thing involving the Spurs when it comes to eyes.
Oh man.
Back in the early 90s, when the Hemisphere Arena got the last game at the Hemisphere Arena was a playoff game between the Spurs and the Phoenix Suns. And the Spurs were up by like a point with a few seconds to go. And Phoenix was getting the ball one last time. And I'll never forget the Jumbotron at the Hemisphere Arena. And I'm there with my dad. What turned out to be the final game at the Hemisphere Arena. They went to the Jumbotron and they showed David Robinson, a young David Robinson. He looked like a deer in headlights. And then you saw Charles Barkley, who at that point was probably a 7 or 8 year veteran, just had this steel look. Didn't look scared, didn't look calm. He looked like, I'm going to win this game. Like the confidence in his eyes. And then they looked over at David Robinson. They were going back and forth. I'll never forget this moment as a Spurs fan. And I remember looking at my dad going, we're going to lose. We're going to lose this game. Now, I mean, we got it. Spurs got it. Spurs got it. And what ended up happening? Pass the ball into Barkley, top of the key. Takes a step back, knocks it down from 20 feet out. Game over, playoffs over, Hemisphere Arena over. Spurs then started playing at the Alamo Dome. But I'll never forget that. You can tell so much by the eyes. And people think that that's weird, that I believe that. But I firmly believe in all of that. But my goodness.
All right. Well, what did the eyes of this dog tell you, man?
Okay. The eyes of Britney Spears and that dog. Oh, my God. That dog is going, am I going to eat today?
That dog's probably like, someone adopt me.
Yes. But Britney Spears, you know, when it rains, though, brings her dogs in.
But you know, one of the things I wanted to ask you about, these videos that we're seeing with Britney Spears,
yeah,
I don't ever remember seeing as many of these videos as we have seen lately. I wonder if all this kind of kicked off right around the time where you had the Wemby gate, the slap.
Well, no, she was doing this before.
Okay.
She's been doing this for weeks. Believe me, I follow Britney Spears.
Oh, I don't. Man.
Okay,
So
I follow
like,
Britney Spears on Instagram because, again, just up until a few years ago, she was still a hottie. And to this day, I mean, dude, when she first came out, straight up 10. Throughout her 20s was a straight up 10. Throughout her 30s was a straight up 10. Dropped to a 9, dropped to an 8. Then she got crazy. And then remember she shaved her head that one time?
Yeah.
And she lost her mind and was hitting a car with a... Dude, look that one up. Look up shaved Britney.
Okay.
And that's when you knew that something was wrong mentally. And that's why I don't want to make fun of it so much. I hope she recovers from whatever demons she has right now. But it is so bizarre that it's not only her. Amanda Bynes is another actress who's wandering the streets of LA and San Francisco naked because she's got some mental issues going on. And then we're looking at a photo right now of Britney Spears when she had a shaved head and she lost her mind. She lost her mind. But that's the thing about these kids that are taken advantage of, abused, probably given substances when they're young in life.
Check this out. She's there with this little dog, a little puppy. I wonder if that's the same dog.
Oh, it's been a while, man.
Yeah.
It's been a long while. And I don't think that one's it. But taking a look at Britney Spears and that dog and that whole incident that happened, mental breakdowns. You see this a lot when it comes to kids who are brought up in the entertainment industry. I mean, you see Drew Barrymore. I mean, she bounced back from the demons that she had. I mean, she was introduced to drugs early on in life. Anthony Kiedis of the Red Hot Chili Peppers talks about the fact that he was on drugs as a preteen, and it was brought to him by his dad.
Yeah.
And Britney Spears is somebody who was probably taken advantage of by her parents, for crying out loud. The people that should love her the most, the people that should be protecting her the most, goodness, they weren't there for her. They weren't there for her. And look what's going on in her life. If we heard a story that she was dead tomorrow, would we be surprised?
Nah, I don't think anybody would, unfortunately.
She ain't making it to 50, dude. She ain't making it to 50. She's 41 right now. She is 41. She ain't making it to 50 the way that she's going right now. Now, speaking of 50, that is the age almost of Scottie Pippen's son's girlfriend, who happens to be, Michael Jordan's son's girlfriend, right? Because Larsa Pippen at age 49, if we can call up a photo of Larsa Pippen.
Oh, man.
Larsa Pippen is dating Michael Jordan's son, Marcus. Ooh, that reminded me of Boomerang. Marcus. Dating Marcus. Marcus Jordan is 32 years old. The reports came out this weekend that Michael Jordan says that he does not bless this relationship, that he does not approve of this relationship, and apparently Larsa Pippen is upset. Now, so think about that. Michael Jordan and Scottie Pippen were together winning championships all through the 90s, right? 6 rings. Both of them all-time greats. Michael Jordan, easily top 3 of all time. A lot of people think he's the GOAT. I would be okay with that if you said that. Scottie Pippen, one of the 50 greatest players of all time. Defensive god out there in the 90s. He was the right-hand man. He was the Robin to Jordan's Batman. And Scottie and Larsa break up. And out of the 4 billion men on the face of the earth, she decides to hook up.
And I'm showing the picture right now.
She decides to hook up with Pippen's teammate's son. This is the equivalent. Let's do a Spurs equivalent of this, right? Let's say that it was Tim Duncan and Manu Ginobili, right? They were teammates that won several titles together. This would be the equivalent of Tim Duncan's son dating Manu's ex-wife, if that were to ever happen.
Dang.
I mean, that's what's going on here. And look, I'm not going to be that kind of guy that says that they shouldn't have that relationship, in the sense that a 49-year-old woman hooking up with a 32-year-old guy, it happens, man. You know, ever since American Pie, right? MILF, when that phrase became very, very popular. I mean, going back to, The Graduate with Mrs. Robinson, right?
Yeah.
Okay, there has been a thing about guys who like going out with older women. I'm not going to fault that. And there are girls out there who are cougars, who are in their early 50s, late 40s, mid 50s, going out with guys in the 20s and 30s, and they become a bit of a sugar mama. And I'm okay with that. I'm absolutely okay with that. I'm not upset about this because of the age difference, okay? I'm upset about who they are. Who they are. It is people who work together for so long. And Larsa Pippen has known her boyfriend since he was born. So let's do some math here. It is 2023, right?
Yeah.
He is 32 years old. Subtract that. 1991 is when he was born, approximately. What was going on around 1991? They were winning titles, right? They were getting close to it. They were almost at the mountaintop. And think about that. So Larsa Pippen, 32 years ago, probably knew Marcus Jordan.
Yeah.
At some point got to know him. I don't know if knew him when he was a baby, but at least as a teenager knew who he was. It's so bizarre, man.
Oh, we got a comment here from Jason Garcia. He says, if they marry, would that be considered Jordan's 7th ring?
Yes, it would be. It would be. So they married in 1997. Okay, so they married in 1997. So you're telling me that Larsa Pippen and Scottie Pippen, they got married on July 20th, 1997. Are you telling me that Larsa Pippen did not know of a 4 or 5 year old Marcus Jordan?
Oh, she knew.
She knew.
She's probably friends with his mom at the time.
Or something, or they're hanging on the locker room.
Yeah.
They probably have photos. Oh my God. There are probably photos of a 5-year-old, 4-year-old with Larsa Pippen. That is crazy. You know what that is? You know what that's called whenever it's guys that do that? It's called grooming.
Yeah, that's true.
It's called grooming. And that's what's going on with this. And even though they won 6 rings together, I think that Jordan likes to believe that he won those titles on his own.
Yeah.
Okay. But how many did Jordan win without Scottie? And how many did Scottie win without Jordan? Scottie got close.
Yeah, he did.
Without Jordan. But how many times did they win without each other? Didn't happen.
Yeah, they got close, but it didn't happen.
So you had Dennis Rodman there, you had Horace Grant, you had BJ Armstrong, you had all of these players, Steve Kerr, all of these players came together. But Michael Jordan is of the belief that it was he and he alone that made this happen. And Pippen is probably there disrespected. So I feel bad for Scottie Pippen. But then again, if you go to TMZ.com right now, there's a story about how Scottie Pippen was driving through the streets of Malibu, California over the weekend, and whatever woman he was with was exposing her breasts to the paparazzi and to anybody who wanted to watch. What is going on with these guys?
Nah, I don't know, man. It's wild.
Can you imagine a story about that involving Manu down the road? Can you imagine if that was to happen? Johnny reaches out and says, man, she is having fun in her own home. I'm talking about Britney Spears.
Yeah.
She isn't bothering anyone. Well, the dog might have an issue, but it looks like he's roughing it. The dog. Poor dog. What movie was that? That was Coming to America, right? Coming to America, where they were like the chalk outline. And then the guy goes, the landlord goes, damn shame what they did to that dog. Oh my goodness, man. Life is so bizarre when it comes to all of this stuff. I mean, 4 billion men in the world. Larsa Pippen at 49. She might be 49 years old. But that body ain't 49. I mean, she's got a 20-something-year-old body, a 30-something-year-old body.
But the better natural, man.
Well, it doesn't matter. I mean,
I'm just saying, yeah.
Are they real? Yeah, real nice.
Yeah, let's remind everybody too, man. You all liking the show? You like what we're doing right now? Show us some love. Give us a like.
Give us a like. Give us a like. That's the thing. Spread the word. Because again, we're trying to make this a 2-hour show beginning in August. again, we're going to have a lot going on. August 6th, we begin the Fantasy Gods with Brandon Medina. And that is another sponsorship opportunity for those of you who have a business and you want to look at how you can be part of this show, how you can be part of this network. We have that show going on, and we're still trying to figure it out. So what I think we're going to do this weekend is, and if you can set aside some time on Saturday, I'll post something because it's easier on the weekends. I'm going to go Thursday night to Serenity Manor to go check out the karaoke. So if anyone wants to join me over there, I will be there. But when it comes to this weekend on Saturday, we'll have a summit. We'll call it the Acquired Taste Summit, right? Anybody who wants to be part of the network or wants to pitch a show or wants to do anything like that, wants to kind of tell us what they can do. I know we've reached out to a couple of people already about various things, but we need to have something UTSA football centric because that is a big deal. And people reached out to me about it, and they're like, there's other UTSA shows going on. I get that. But the one thing about this show is that I don't necessarily want to be an insider for all things. I want to do things from a fan perspective. So we're going to have a fantasy football show that UIW. Things like that. We have Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs as our main focus guy when it comes to Spurs.
Yeah.
Right. So that's his baby. He does a very good job with that. We can't ever do better than what he does when it comes to that. But we got to bring other things to the table. And I'm looking forward to what people want to say and people want to do. And this is an exciting time. I mean, at this time yesterday, think about it this way. At this time yesterday, we were at 499. Remember, at the end of the show,
499.
We were at 498, then we went to 499, and right now we're sitting at 518. Think about that. I haven't asked for a subscription in 24 hours, and we got 19 cents in the last 24 hours. Think about the pace that we're on.
Is that what it means to be organic?
Yes, I was being organic, and 19 came around, right? 19 came around. And think about that. We're at 518. Where are we going to be at the start of the NFL season? We need to average about 7 or 8 per day to get to 1,000 at the start of the NFL season when the Dallas Cowboys take the field in week 1. If we get to 1,000 by then and the NFL season starts, my God, we will be at 2,000 and beyond.
Yeah.
Come December.
You're into the territory of actually starting to make a little bit of money doing the show. Just from YouTube alone.
Yeah, we have 1,500 hours going on right now.
Yeah.
Hey, the Spurs shut down Victor Wembanyama, and I'm happy about that. That is the report going on right now, saying that the Spurs back in action tonight in the Las Vegas Summer League. But Victor Wembanyama, after having a performance a couple of nights ago, 27 points, 12 rebounds, 3 blocks, that is it. Shut him down. He has even said that he wants to be away from the media for a month. Dude, make it 2 months. I don't care. I don't want to see Victor Wembanyama again until camp starts in late September, early October. That is when I want to see Wemby all over again. Until then, go lift some weights, go stretch those toes and those feet, and just be ready for the preseason. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, they did the right thing, man. You don't want to go ahead and have the kid out there and risk injury, because you already saw in this last game that he had. He came down and he kind of grimaced a little bit because he kind of tweaked his ankle. I think that's all they needed to see at that point. They're like, you know what? This is his last game. We put him out there. What are the risks of him actually getting injured if he stays and plays another game or two? And then what's going to happen when the regular season starts?
Yeah. I mean, these games don't matter, but it did matter to see him bounce back. That is the thing. Just want to let everybody know that we do have a special guest tomorrow. Jeff Garcia, Moneybags himself, will be in. Don't forget to subscribe to the Locked On Spurs podcast. Jeff Garcia is at Jeff G Spurs Zone on Twitter. He also has a Threads account. By the way, my Threads account is MJIM1313, MJIM1313. His Threads is at Jeff G Ken's 5SA. So we're going to have Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs and Ken's 5 tomorrow. Thursday, it's going to be the first time that we have 2 guests on the show. We have Ken's 5 sports anchor Casey Vieira and soccer analyst Katie Goodman going to dissect what goes down Wednesday night when USA plays, I believe it's Panama.
Yeah, at that point.
And the Gold Cup semifinals. So we're going to have Katie Goodman on. She'll also talk about San Antonio FC. We'll show some love to San Antonio FC as well. And on Friday, we're talking about love. Okay, we're talking about how to get a girl, right? We're going to have Mariana Wegner. She's going to be coming at us from Atlanta, Georgia. She is somebody that I follow on TikTok. I follow her on Instagram. And she basically tells people how to hook up. You know, not hook up as in the sense of like, you know,
one night stand.
Yeah, you know, boom, boom, boom. Let's go back to my room type of thing. But it's basically on how to approach a girl, how to get a girl interested in you, how to have a dating profile the right way. Okay, not holding that fish. You know, none of those hunting photos, because women don't like that. They don't care about that. But yeah, we're going to have Mariana on there. And then next week, we're hoping to have Rhonda DiMartino, the poker player. By the way, she got knocked out of the World Series of Poker. Update from yesterday. She finished in like 1,000th place, like 11 something. But she is taking home $17,500 out of a $10,000 buy-in. That's a profit of $7,500. Not bad for a few days' work. She said she was super excited about that she loved all the support, and so we hope to have her on next week. So I like this. I like having guests on. And again, congratulations to us over here because we passed that 500 subscription mark.
Yeah.
Again, hit 500. Hit like and subscribe. Dude, 22% of those who are watching this show have not subscribed. That's according to YouTube. When I looked at the statistics yesterday, 78% have subscribed, 22% have not. Locked On Spurs, not money bags, Jeff Garcia says. He is on tomorrow. Again, special thanks again to our sponsor, JPAR Real Estate, Cynthia J. Sanchez at JPAR Real Estate. Again, Cynthia J. Sanchez. You can reach out to her for a home. If you want to buy a home, sell a home, go to Cynthia J. Sanchez over at JPAR Real Estate. And then also, again, thank you again to our new sponsors, Serenity Manor out in Helotes. 14405 Old Bandera Road, right across the street from Flores Country Store. They do weddings, bridal showers, reunions. It is a big old party venue out there, and they have a bar that's open Wednesday to Sunday nights. And then this Thursday, holding a karaoke night. I will be there for that karaoke night. They'll also have trivia nights on Thursdays as well. So I'm looking forward to that. In fact, I'm going to go visit them in the next half hour or so. Matt Lerman reaches out and says, you're going to get Jeff robbed, calling him money bags. You know, it's sticking. Okay. It's sticking. It's funny because the whole thing about leaving my dogs outside, that had legs for a while. People don't really give me crap about that anymore. But money bags to Jeff has somehow resonated with a lot of people. They've stuck to that.
Well, because we're calling them out, telling them, you know, all his little secrets, you know, ordering Uber Eats from a bougie steak place.
Nothing wrong with Uber Eats. I do it from time to time, but my Uber Eats is like Chick-fil-A.
Yeah, Whataburger.
Whataburger. It is Burger Boy.
Not a steak, a full-on steak dinner.
It's not a French steak with a baked potato and veggies and all that stuff. And I was like, he was like eating it in front of me while we were on Zoom. We were just talking on Zoom, right?
Yeah.
And he's just there, you know, just like digging into the steak, perfectly done. I'm like, dude, that's not Outback Steakhouse.
No.
You know, that is not Texas Roadhouse. That is a French steak. Money bags. Again, tomorrow, Jeff Garcia from Locked On Spurs. Great story. Again, is San Antonio a boring city? Yes, we are. But you know what? Let's just embrace it. It is what it is. Let's not change who we are. That is Joe Garcia. My name is Mike Jimenez. Follow me on Twitter at MJ Acquired Taste. Don't forget, before you let go, hit the like button. August 6th, Fantasy Gods begins. August 7th, that's the date that we're trying to go to 2 hours. Like, buy us, what was the thing again? Buy us a beer,
man.
There's the QR code. If you want to, I guess, give us a tip. How would you describe it?
Yeah, that's a tip, basically. You're buying us a beer.
You know, we're not charging you for the YouTube subscription, but if you want to toss over $1 or $2, again, buy us a beer, and then we'll party this weekend. Details to come tonight as to what we're doing, where we're doing it. My name is Mike Jimenez. That is Joe Garcia. It's been a fun time. Again, tomorrow, Jeff Garcia, Moneybags from Locked On Spurs will be on. See you guys tomorrow. Peace.